rather than randomizing it, and Michael Bryant was the higher seed. He chose to play, and it was likely the difference as he took down game 1.
As you do see both players sideboarding here. Again, stay tuned with us. After our quarterfinals is over, we will be giving away those 3 months of premium. We will find who got the answer to AJ's question correct.
A very difficult testing question.
It was a tough one. It always is.
Mentally taxing. You have to puzzle through. You have to find the right hashtag and the...
Yeah. You are a real meanie.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So, Rug, Delver versus Jund, sideboarded.
And we see both players reaching here, and Jeff Rasmussen is down a game. You have his deck list in front of you. Go to it, my friend.
Submerge, 3X. That's got to be the first one in. Basically, a free, at least tempo card, if not removal. We also have a Mind Harness. You can steal a Tarmogoyf for a Deathrite Shaman.
Give it beatdowns for a few turns.
Sure, why not? And that looks like it's it. Maybe Sulfuric Vortex, probably not though. 3-mana spell that gets Abrupt Decayed, and you know, Jund can actually clock you pretty hard if you're not careful. Yeah, likely just Submerges and the Mind Harness.
Taking a look over here at Michael Bryant's sideboard, as he has taken a step away. He has simply had enough of this tournament.
He is over it.
Yeah, he's walked off set. Cut. Bloodbraid Elf is certainly a good place to start. Powerful magic card. You know, as long as he can get to the 4 mana, which is a weird thing to say, but at the same time, when there's Wastelands and Stifles running around and you're able to control those Deathrite Shamans with Fork Bolts and Lightning Bolts, it might be a little bit more difficult than you think to get to 4 mana. Umazawa Shite certainly going to join us. You see 3 copies of Duress here. You also see 2 copies of Nile Spellbomb that can keep those Nimble Mongoose and Tarmogoyfs in check. But the interesting card here, at least to me, maybe it's not that interesting, is Engineered Plague. The reason I find it a little bit interesting is because it can name a Mongoose for a Nimble Mongoose to take care of those forever. It can also name Delver of Secrets if he hasn't drawn one yet to take care of those forever as well. It is a little bit narrow in its application. I'm not sure if that's a card that you would want to board in here or not.
It's both a little narrow and a little slow. I think that the Jund deck likely has better options. I don't think Michael's going to bring those in, but it is something to consider. I think that Michael is much more likely to bring in the Nile Spellbombs. As you said, they do sort of neuter the Mongoose and can, you know, buy some time against an opposing Tarmogoyf, as well as just sort of power through your deck and draw to your super good cards like Bloodbraid Elf.
Yeah, absolutely. So when Michael comes back here, I'm sure we'll continue playing, but I mean, someone's going to have to go talk him down here.
Yeah.
Like
such a diva.
Yeah, it's simply unbelievable.
Grafdigger's Cage being the graveyard hate card of choice for Jeff does not work against Punishing Fire. Right? It's just creatures and flashback cards.
That's correct.
The Punishing Fire is neither of
those things, yes. As Punishing Fire kind of walks the line.
Yes.
Oddly enough.
So Punishing Fire is actually pretty good in this matchup, both killing both sides of the Delver of Secrets.
Yep.
You know, the Delver and the horrifying result of the experiment, the Insectile Aberration. But it also makes Goyf on Goyf lethal.
Yeah.
Finishing off a Goyf after fighting. Pretty good. Jeff does have the Wastelands to fight the Groves. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not terribly surprised that Jund's up a game here, but you know, in watching this in the past, and we've covered it multiple times. And one of the places where we actually saw a lot of this matchup was in Atlanta, where Tony Chu actually won with Jund. We had 3 Jund decks in the top 4 to go on with the Belcher deck. We saw a lot of this matchup with Rug versus Jund, and it was very close just all the way around. The decks interact in a lot of different ways, and there's a lot of interaction within the first 5 turns of the game.
Yeah.
Between Brainstorms and Pondering and Deathrite Shamans and Abrupt Decays, cards are being just traded back and forth like crazy, and then it comes down to, does the Rug deck, draw some more deck manipulation in the form of Ponder or Brainstorm? Does the Jund deck
draw enough mana?
Does it draw enough mana? Does it run into Bloodbraid Elves and favorable Cascades? So it is very, very back and forth, and we just made it through a complete match with the Reanimator deck versus Nick Fit, which, you know, it took a little while, and we've only got one game done here, so
yeah,
these games are certainly back and forth, and they do take a little while here.
Absolutely. I mean, both decks are trying to create a somewhat poverty-stricken game state, you know, where neither player has a ton of resources. The Jund deck does that by using super powerful 2-for-1s and then trying to hope that it has, you know, a couple extra cards left over at the end of it, while the Rug Delver player is using more tempo-oriented cards and a lot more 1-for-1s to create that game state, and is looking to push a life total advantage and a board presence advantage as you enter that sort of the resource light end game.
All right, so Michael does look pretty happy with the setup of his deck. You see him just shuffling away here. He was very, very happy to make top 8, so I'm very happy for him.
Yeah.
You know, after he won his match in round 8, you could tell he was completely just stoked.
Yes, very emotional response to making top 8 and being up a game. You know, he's all smiles, and why not?
Yeah, it's hard not to be happy. So we'll see if the Jund deck, Bloodbraid Elf and all, the Boogeyman, I'm going to have to ban it from Legacy too. Time to go.
The problem with Legacy is there's like 5 Boogeymans.
It's time to get up and get out, Mr. Bloodbraid Elf, or Mrs. Bloodbraid Elf, depending on, I think it's a Mrs.
I don't know if elves like genderize like that in Magic lore.
Yeah, nerd cred, right? Yeah.
I literally have no idea. I mean, because, you know, in some you know, canonical universes, elves are, what's the word? Genderless?
Sure.
Androgynous from our director. And I'm pretty sure they're androgynous in almost all fantasy settings. But
what was that word you used earlier? Conical?
Canonical.
Canonical?
As in of canon.
I don't know what that means.
All right. Sorry. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to power through. I'll explain it to you
I don't know what
later.
that means.
So, but in other fantasy universes,
I know what it means.
Okay, good. In other worlds, in other planes, if you will, elves are genderized.
Oh.
And, you know.
So in the Magic world, who knows?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure lots of people know. I'm just not one of them.
And if you do, at SCG Live, hashtag SCGKC, send all those to AJ.
I was going to say, and tweet at Cedric.
Tweet all those to AJ this
Cedric
time.
A. Phillips.
Yep.
Tweet everything you can at him. If you have any cute pictures of your dogs, he loves puppies.
Love dogs.
Just send him as many pictures as you would like of your dogs. Cats, he likes cats too.
Allergic to cats.
Babies. A rock. If you find an interesting rock on the street, take a picture, tweet it to Cedric. Cedric A. Phillips. He would love to see all of your asinine, inane pictures.
I would love to see them all. I would be very happy. It would make my day.
So,
perhaps pictures of airplanes being delayed, just like flight statuses of airplanes being delayed. I would love that.
Those are his favorite things.
Yep.
Flight delays. He sings songs about how much he loves flight delays and cancellations and reroutings.
I've seen this before. You know what this is? This is a healthy shuffle by Michael Bryant.
I thought it was the freeze out.
This is bordering on. The only player that I've ever seen shuffle infinite before is like Josh Hutter-Layton.
He does shuffle a lot.
He shuffles a lot.
And he shuffles very uniquely.
Yes, he does.
I don't know anyone that has the same like shuffle. I don't know, hand
mechanics.
Arrangement. Yeah, mechanics.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know anyone who has even remotely similar mechanics to Josh Hutter-Layton.
Like, what if Michael just had the mulligan here? Are we just in for the hard lock here? Just another.
I think it's
5.
He is mulliganing.
Oh, he's going to 6.
That is what he's doing.
Okay. I thought we were in for just another hardcore shuffle sesh here.
I like Jeff. Just like, I'm not gonna be out shuffled.
Yeah. Challenge absolutely
it's the mind
accepted.
games.
Yeah.
Mind games.
Look at him looking into the camera. He knows exactly what he's doing here. It's an actual shuffle war. Kibler, you ain't got nothing on this.
Shuffle off.
Yeah.
Shuffle off.
Yeah. You have absolutely nothing on this, Brian Kibler. Cue the LMFAO. Or don't. Either's fine.
Cue the yakety sax. How about that?
Oh, that would be a dream.
One day this stream will have yakety sax on cue.
For those of you guys wondering at home, if you are Florida Gulf Coast University fans, that's FGCU out there. And AJ, I know you're a big one.
Yeah.
They are busting more brackets.
Oh, sports ball.
Sports ball. They won
Yes.
again.
Yes, the sports
I've
ball.
heard via Twitter they were victorious yet again. So
Did you see that ludicrous display last night?
Your bracket was busted once they beat Georgetown, and it's broken even further now, as we have Jeff underway here. Scalding Tarn's going to bring him down to 19, and we'll see if he's going to start with a Nimble Mongoose, perhaps a Delver Secrets, maybe something as simple and broken as Ponder.
As simple and completely unfair and ridiculous as Ponder. There was no bitterness in your voice at all, Cedric.
Not at all.
It's good that you don't take everything personally.
I actually like Ponder, okay?
It's just brainstorm.
I don't really like Brainstorm. Brainstorm is very difficult and hard to cast correctly, whereas Ponder is less difficult to cast correctly. So I like Ponder. As we do see Nimble Mongoose come down here for Jeff, so he's going to get the beatdown start a little bit early here. We'll see Michael take his turn, but a quick update for you guys there at home. We do have a result for you. Grant Wilkinson playing Ant, I can't believe it, did beat Lance.
Wow, took out Fox McCloud. Excuse me, Tom McCloud.
Yes, Tom McCloud is down. Tom did manage to get a game, though, so that's a little bit impressive.
Well, he was, used the boost to chase, did a barrel roll, etc.
These are Star Fox jokes.
Yeah, I really wanted to feature them just so I could make more, but
And poor ones at that.
I'm gonna have to, satisfy myself with just that.
As Michael does search for a basic land, does not want to be wastelanded yet at this point. You see Punishing Fire in his hand, among other things, and Nile Spellbomb is going to keep that Nimble Mongoose in check for a little while, as Jeff does draw a Crow's Grip, so we'll see just for how long.
Crow's Grip, an interesting sideboard card. We're looking at the Umezawa's Jite, specifically, as well as it does, kill the Nile spell bombs, and the Uno Sylvan Library, which is not really that big of a threat, but it's in your deck to kill Umezawa's Jite. Yeah. And then if you draw it and you're in a spot where killing something else is good, then you can. There's no rule against it.
Now, one thing you see here, as you see two nimble monkeys coming across, is Michael.
The goose is loose.
And so is the Mana Screw monster. He's loose too, because Michael doesn't have any.
Well, he fetched a basic forest to not get wastelanded, but now he can't even cycle his Nile Spellbomb to try and draw some more lands.
Yeah. As we do see, Jeff is happy to pass back.
What did I say was going to be the way that the path to victory that Rug Delver takes? Mana denial against the mana hungry deck.
That's right.
And Michael Bryant kind of doing Jeff's job for him.
Yeah. As you see Jeff's hand right now, he has 2 copies of Lightning Bolt, a Rough Tumble, a Crow's Grip, and 2 copies of Submerged. So to say that his hand is good is a bit of an understatement. And I think we're going to be moving on to a Game 3 a lot sooner before later here.
Moose is loose. That's probably one of the more obscure references I've made, so I would be impressed if somebody knew that.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some more planks for 1. Nimble Mongoose. Let's talk about Nimble Mongoose a bit.
Can we?
There are very few answers to a Shroud creature in the format right now. Besides Supreme Verdict / Terminus from the control decks, none of the other decks really have that good of an answer, save for 1 card. Cedric Phillips, can you name that card?
I cannot.
Liliana of the Veil. One of the format defining cards, the second best planeswalker in the format, maybe even of all time. It is quite good. And it is one of the cleaner answers to a Nimble Mongoose. We have Bug decks and Jund, both with access to the 3-mana planeswalker, and
I feel like I should have known that.
Jund is one of those decks that I just named.
I feel like I should know the answer to that question.
Yeah, it was kind of a softball.
Yeah, it was.
I was trying to make you look, like a legacy expert a little there, but
As we are going to see a Deathrite Shaman here from Michael, a pretty ripe submerged target.
yes, which, when an opponent is missing land drops, denying them a draw step, it's just rude.
Yeah,
It's just
it
rude.
really is.
Let the guy draw.
I would take it personally
Yeah.
if I were Michael. So you see Jeff is going to sacrifice that Misty Rainforest, search out a volcanic island, so his mana base is online. He can start throwing those lightning bolts upstairs.
Upstairs.
we'll see if he does want to do that, or if, probably see a Submerge get caster too in just a moment. And there is a Lightning Bolt to take out the Deathrite Charm. I'm a little surprised it goes there instead of just submerging it.
Yeah, that is a little interesting. I have another card I want to talk about, and that is Spell Snare. A lot of Rug Delver decks, almost all of Rug Delver builds, do not play Spell Snare. They have Dazes and Pierces, as well as Forces, but Spell Snare is a card that is usually only a control deck card. And Jeff choosing to play it here when it is unbelievably good against Jund. Here he's trying to counter a Chains of Mephistopheles. Pyroblast protects it, but Jeff does have 2 Crowsend Grips in his hand. Any land, and he can take it out. That's a rough tumble from Jeff.
He did.
Not a card I expected to see come in, but it does kill Deathrite Shaman and or Dark Confidant.
And we are going to bring up Chains of Mephistopheles for you guys, so you guys can see exactly what it does. Very easy to understand.
I was gonna say we're not gonna see exactly what it does. We're gonna see what it says.
I think it explains itself quite well.
Yeah,
that's part of the reason we're going to bring it up.
It's a really intuitive card. I'm actually going to read this aloud. Every time a player draws a card, that player must first discard a card from his or her hand. If there are no cards in player's hand, take top card from library and place it in the graveyard instead of drawing. The enchantment does not apply to the first card drawn by a player during the draw phase.
So pretty simple.
Yes. Straightforward, intuitive. I love how in the middle there, they were running out of room for the text, so in addition to shrinking it, they sort of went caveman.
Yeah,
started dropping articles.
Yeah, take top card.
Yeah.
From library. And speaking of caveman, I think that's what the artwork is. It's just a monster from a cave with a chain. That's Birdie from Street Fighter, actually. That's who that is.
So what Chains actually does is, if you would ever draw an additional card, wow, Brainstorm with Chains in play is straight horrible. You discard a card, then draw 1. Discard another card, then draw 1. Discard a third card, then draw 1. Then put 2 back. I don't know if he is confident enough that he wants to just Brainstorm to find a land, or if he didn't realize that interaction. Chain's a pretty complicated card, a pretty not very played card unless you played Vintage around 2008. So losing a lot of value here instead of just being a little more patient, maybe trying to draw that third land, find Crowsend Grip mana, use the grip on the Chains, then you can draw as many cards as you want. Or you know what's actually kind of funny is he could be doing this on purpose to get to Threshold.
That's true.
I don't know if he's at that point quite yet.
Well, he's certainly getting closer now, isn't he?
Yeah. Even if it was an accident, it's now what Bob Ross would call a happy accident, because he is going to be attacking for a lot more damage. Silly Leona resolves.
Most tumble goes bye-bye. And you have to resolve that Brainstorm, my friend.
Yeah.
That's the trick here. That's why
Well, he discarded. I don't think he drew from that discard. He's got to draw another one.
He's got to draw one more. He needs to discard one more.
Now he discards again and draws again. Then puts 2 back. So rather than me trying to explain in I was going to say layman's terms, but in English, what Chains actually does, you got to see an example there, which is really the best way.
Especially how we drew it up.
Yeah.
You're going to see a stifle here.
Stifle on the edict. That's exactly what I was going to say. You stifle the edict. You have Threshold. And I think he has the Lightning Bolt to finish it off.
Yeah, very, very close to Threshold right now, as you see Submerge.
He has to have Threshold, or otherwise he would...
There's a Lightning Bolt going upstairs.
I think that gave him Threshold.
Yeah, that gave him Threshold, and that's going to be a wrap.
I'm not sure if Jeff made a mistake and that was a happy accident, or he looks like he missed that interaction, but then accidentally killed his opponent. I'm not sure if it was an accident or not. I think it's actually a pretty cool line.
I mean, it's a way to get cards in the graveyard.
Yeah, if he drew it up that way, that is pretty awesome, because, Michael Bryant had to use his Nile Spellbomb for minimal value, really, just to cycle, because he was missing land drops, and Jeff let him turbo fill his graveyard. It's like Michael allowed him, air quotes there, to Thought Scour himself a bunch.
Yeah. So does that mean that Chains of...
Yeah, he just gave the camera a thumbs up. I gotta feel like that was an accident that ended up with his opponent dead.
Hey, a lot of text on that Chains.
It is not in a language that is familiar to me.
No. It is printed in English, but that does not mean that it is English.
It is Legends Ease is what that language is.
I remember seeing Josh Ravitch is the first person I really saw play that card. He was playing at Grand Prix Denver on his way to top 4.
With the Jun deck.
Yeah, with the Jun deck. And when he was playing that, I saw it in the sideboard, and I started laughing. And I said, "What does this do?" And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "What does this do?" 'Cause I'm not reading this. And he gave me a breakdown. Basically said it makes Jason Mind Sculptor a lot worse.
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, that's a good answer."
And Brainstorm.
Yeah.
I did at the last Star City Games Invitational at like 3 in a million, just the worst record ever, playing for not dead last. I played against the mono black player and did indeed have to ask for the Oracle of that card. Fast forward to Las Vegas a little over a month ago, I think. I was playing a bit of a brew.
Yes, we all do recall.
Yes, that you've been trashing ever since and during.
Yep.
But anyway, my opponent in game 1 cast a Chains of Mephistopheles on turn 2 against my deck with Intuition Accumulated Knowledge.
How'd that feel?
Not good.
No.
It was hard.
Got to grind through that.
Yeah.
I think part of the allure of Chains of Mephistopheles is when you do play it, and you know what it does. But when you play it and you know what it does, and your opponent just has to go, "Judge,
yeah.
I don't know."
Or they don't call a judge, cast a Brainstorm into it, but kill you with it anyway.
Hey, that was maybe what Jeff was planning.
Yeah.
So we do see both players shuffling up here. See, you're gonna have a shuffle off.
Shuffle off.
See who can out shuffle the other person here. Let me update our brackets here very quickly. We're gonna have Ant ad nauseum tendrils. Of course, he did advance against lands, being piloted by Grant Wilkinson. He's going over to the semifinals, and it's going to be the winner of this match between Michael Bryant playing Jun and Jeff Rasmussen playing Rug Delver. We'll see what the Ant deck is going to go up against. And on the other side, we have, of course, Devin Kepke, who is he's hot.
Yeah,
He's hot.
A little unstoppable, seemingly.
With Reanimator, he's waiting for a winner of the other match between Stephen Medanik playing Elves and Nick Carlson playing Esper Stoneblade. So
we can see him actually in the background there, Devin, on the phone. It's just like, "Yeah, Mom, yeah, I can't lose. It's awesome." My opponent tears my hand apart, and I just draw exactly what I need. It's great.
So my opponent, he had like 2 surgical strikes in my hand, but then I do show and tell, and he died.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah. All right, I love you too, Mom. Bye.
Yeah. I've been doing it to everyone all weekend. It's been fantastic.
Mom, I'm such a powerful wizard. You wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, and peace sign for Devin.
I have to imagine the person that he's talking to is listening to the coverage and is now telling him what we've been saying.
When you give a good
he's looking around. How do they know I'm talking?
When you give a good beatdown, you gotta be pretty happy about it. Uh-oh. Michael concedes.
Jeff wins.
Yeah, Michael concedes the shuffle off. We have our winner in Jeff Rasmussen.
All right, so we've talked about how important the play is.
And both players have won when they were on the play. Jeff decisively.
Yes. And Michael, maybe decisively, we don't know. But Michael going back on the play, and hopefully not going to have to mulligan and miss land drops this game. Being on the play for Jun, besides being a step ahead, is also very important to be able to fetch before Stifle and to play your 2 drops before Wasteland and other such things. Being ahead on curve, a little more important here than it may be otherwise. Michael, unfortunately for him, going to 6. Jeff looked like he was put up a finger, thinking for a second. Nope, he is going to keep.
Well, at least one player's happy.
Looks like we might have an update from another table.
We do. We have Nick Carlson. Esper Stoneblade defeats Elves just like you thought he would.
I'm a genius.
So Nick with Esper Stoneblade, the legacy mainstay, is going to be playing against Devin Kepke and his Reanimator deck. And if I was Nick, I would be scared to death.
Shaking in my boots.
Look, here's the thing. In all honesty, as great of a game as Magic is, obviously, when a player is running hot, you want to get out of their way.
Yeah, rushes happen.
Yeah, that's the honest
those are a
truth.
thing.
You want to stay out of their way if you can. And Kepke is on, he's obviously playing well, but he's on a bit of a heater.
Yeah.
As we've seen his draw steps, and they've been good.
Quite good.
If I was Nick Carlson having to derail that train on my way to a title, I'd be a little bit scared.
Yes.
You see Kepke rolling up his sleeves over there on the screen. Where's Nick Carlson? Where is he? I'm ready. Show him what Griselbrand can do. As we are continuing the shuffle off here. Do you think these guys are on camera? They just know that they're having a shuffle off just to drive everyone insane at home and here in the booth?
No, I think it's, if anything, they're having a good time, they're chatting, they're laughing, they're having more fun than, once the game starts, they gotta go game faces, they gotta focus, they gotta, I don't know.
Stop shuffling.
Yeah, that's just a theory.
Josh Layton's probably very happy right now, right?
Josh Layton, we need like a video of him shuffling. If you haven't seen it in real life, you just like wouldn't believe the way that he does it. It's very, very unique.
The man was meant to shuffle a deck. As we are underway here, Game 3 of the quarterfinals. Michael Bryant, Jeff Rasmussen. Jund versus Rug Delver. Verdant Catacombs going to knock Michael down to 19.
Fetching the basic to get around the wasteland that Jeff does indeed have. And a card that I do want to talk about again, even though I did mention it briefly last game. Rough Tumble. Rough/Tumble. Although we're mostly looking at rough here.
Yeah, we are not looking at Tumble.
Is that worth it, do you think?
I think it is worth it because I think it's very easy for Jeff to get a 2-for-1 with that effect. He can take care of a Deathrite Shaman and a Dark Confidant, I think, fairly easily just with that card. Or even, Deathrite Shaman plus the Bloodbraid Elf. I think that there is going to be... I think it's going to happen more often than not that it takes care of 2 cards.
Sure.
So I think having a 2-for-1 is perfectly worth it.
1-for-1's like on curve Dark Confidant.
You're also happy with that.
Yeah. If that was any other card that didn't kill the Dark Confidant, you were probably just dead.
Yeah. Now we're going to see Nimble Mongoose here from Jeff, and he's going to pass the turn. Deathrite Shaman is going to keep nice control of the graveyard here for Michael while also accelerating. You see why Deathrite Shaman, one of the best cards in Legacy upon its arrival.
It has been a format-defining card. I'm willing to say that. It's actually kind of funny. When it first came out, a couple people were, I say a couple. A lot of people were only playing 3 copies because they were afraid that they didn't work together that well. But they're just so powerful, you want as many as you can.
And now Liliana the Veil is here. It's going to make Jeff sacrifice that Nimble Mongoose. So you want to talk about an ideal start on Mulligan to 6. We just found one.
Absolutely. As I was saying, the perfect, cleanest answer to Nimble Mongoose in the format. Michael Bryant having access to it and accelerating to it. Can't get, pierced that way. Didn't get dazed. Jeff possibly boarding those out, especially on the draw. Probably doesn't have those. Pretty confident, just slamming Liliana there, and it worked.
So now we see Jeff thumbing through his hand. He has a Rough Tumble, of course, Nimble Mongoose, Sylvan Library to go along with the Volcanic Island and Wasteland. And another fetch land in there as well. I think there's one card in there that may be a mystery, but he's trying to figure out how he wants to craft a game plan here. And that's going to be a little bit difficult because his hand is going to be under attack now. Yep. And when the hand goes under attack, that means Liliana can take care of the creatures. And Rod Delver doesn't have a lot of them. He only does have 12.
That is true. That is very, very true. And we are leading with Volcanic Island and Tramagoyf. This is the game plan.
Yeah. So we see a 2/3 Tramagoyf there because of the Verdant Catacombs and the Nimble Mongoose.
A Kurtgoyf?
Yeah, it's going to do its best Kurt Ape impression. Or,
a Lone Goyf?
Just Tarmogoyf. As we see, I think we're going to see a Bloodbraid Elf, my friend.
Spin the wheel!
Cascade.
Shrink.
1, 2, is that Tarmogoyf?
First things first.
Here we go!
Him.
That's a hit.
Quite strong. Well, Rough Tumble.
We talked about it.
Would be quite a good, not him card.
Yeah, Rough Tumble is the card that Jeff is saying, please don't hit, please don't hit.
It would not only kill both the Bloodbraid Elf and the Deathrite Shaman.
Ooh!
Brutal. that would have allowed the Tarmogoyf to kill the Liliana the Veil, which would then also pump up the Tarmogoyf. That would have been a huge sequence, but instead, Jeff gets tagged. The Rough Tumble gone, along with the Nimble Mongoose, which he could have sort of tried to use to maybe swarm the Edict effect and keep a creature around. Instead, he's got a couple lands in his hand. Ooh, lightning bolt.
He does draw a lightning bolt, so I think it might be time to lightning bolt that Bloodbraid Elf and take care of that Liliana.
Absolutely, we are. It's not the 2-for-1, basically 3-for-1 that the Rough Tumble would have been, but you know, kill Goyf, kill Liliana.
Pretty good turn. Okay,
or, I'm sorry, kill Bloodbraid Elf, kill Liliana, waste your land. It's not too bad.
Yeah, so he's
actually. He has waste Sylvan Library.
Yeah, he has both Sylvan Library. So this is actually a really good turn for him. He's going to actually get to put everything into play, use all of his mana. Goyf is going to become a 4/5, and now we're going to see what Michael can draw.
That was a very nice turn.
Yeah, that was a really, really good turn there. Really, pretty good comeback from a pretty nice turn by Michael. Again, we expected these games to be swingy back and forth.
Yeah, swingy
and it right now.
Grindy top deck mode. I mean, that's what both game plans both decks kind of sort of aim to guide the game towards. And wow, Pyroblast, Dark Confidant with Deathrite up. Whew.
Not so bad.
Just hit after hit after hit. Both of these players, both these decks, really firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, we're going to be going back and forth. Interesting tapping there by Michael.
I think he's trying to either gain the life with Deathrite or use the Deathrite to cast the Pyro.
Okay.
He's also masking his Pyro a little, which I don't know how relevant that is, but
you see the cards there for Jeff. He has a Spell Pierce, a Stifle, and a Submerge.
He's going to take 4, peel 1 off there.
Wasteland that Grove, and that's why you use that. Okay, that makes
Absolutely,
more sense.
the Wasteland was already in play from the Sylvan Library.
Here comes your 5/6 beater.
Taking 5.
Let's see if we're going to pull the trigger on that Submerge. And we're not.
Gain 2 lives.
And now would be a good time to Submerge, but you see him elect not to do that again, so...
You know what it is he... Oof! Well, that's a little awkward. But what he was hoping to do was have Michael Bryant crack a fetch, say, Submerge the Dark Confidant in response, shuffle it away forever, rather than just using it as tempo play. I understand the logic behind that, but I think with a 5/6 Tarmogoyf and a Sylvan Library, it's alright to just take the tempo play there.
Yeah.
Bob beat down.
The best card to beat down.
Yes.
An honest man's work.
There's a fetch land. Ooh, and a Tarmogoyf. So, the fetch land will be able to make the Sylvan Library, see a fresh 3, not next turn, but the turn after, likely, if he chooses. This is that Spell Pierce, not the most enticing card. And a second 5/6.
So that is going to change this game dramatically here, as you're going to see. Michael is going to want to gain a little bit more life here. He needs to keep his head above water. But Jeff has some solid cards in his hand. But the card that's most important one here.
He still didn't use the Submerge. When the Deathrite was tapped, there's no red land.
Yeah.
He could have submerged there.
I'm a little bit surprised that he's not submerging,
with
honestly.
a pseudo time walk with 2 5/6s and a Sylvan Library. I don't know. Maybe that's greedy of me, but I take it.
I mean, maybe he wants Michael to reveal a high casting cost card there, as you're going to see Wasteland take care of that Volcanic Island. Maybe, reveal a Bloodbraid Elf, deal himself 4 points of damage, then Submerge, then.
Take a turn off the clock, maybe.
A little bit surprised that he's not pulling the trigger on it as well, but as I was saying, the card that, obviously all these cards are important. I think the card that, Michael is obviously losing to is the Sylvan Library here, the manipulation, the card drawing,
being
able to find what matters.
The Tarmogoyf was the 3rd card down, and instead it went directly into play.
Yeah. Now here come the 5/6s. You see Deathrite Shaman looking to remove something here. And all those Red Elemental Blasts, as good as they are, they certainly can't save you right now. Going to remove Lightning Bolt, and maybe we'll finally see that Submerge here, so Dark Confidant cannot block. Nope, we're just going to keep it there.
Surely now you
standing firm on Submerge, does not want to cast it.
Surely now you have to cast it.
And those are going to go down to... No, they're not going to go down.
I'm sure there are...
I don't know. It doesn't look like there's another instant in the graveyard. It looks like those do go down to 4/5s. Submerge is an instant that he can't put in the graveyard.
Boom.
And there it is.
And
there's a
that
concession,
is the
which is
match.
not much of a surprise to me. I figured that eventually Submerge would draw the concession, and it does. So, Jeff Rasmussen does win 2-1 with Rug Delver.
Michael Bryant. I'm sorry.
Taking down Michael Bryant playing Jund. So Jeff will move